It's time for the Other Three Amigos podcast. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
On this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast, we discuss the €5 deal masterstroke, what's the crack with Usher and the FORAS meetings, Toe Tap finally returns home, we ask if we're sitting Keats of the treaty game, there's cowpats on the pitch up in Finn Park, there's a bog review from Ballybuffet, and the Freddie Anderson gets in an online spat with a child. All of this and more, including your mailbag, on this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast. Welcome to Season 6, Episode 11, Episode 336 of your multi-award winning podcast. Throw us a 5-star rating on whatever podcast platform you're listening in on. Dan Casey here, and I'm joined by my other two amigos. They are Declan McCormick and Declan Carey. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/ToeTap. You know the spiel at this stage, lads. And we're also delighted to have Saley as sponsors of the podcast. Use the code TOETAP on checkout to claim your... What are we claiming, Kerry? You're extremely good at 15%.
I think it's 15% off. Yeah. Could be more. Could be, not certain on it then, but yeah, brilliant offer. And
fuck, do you not know what you're selling, like?
To be honest, I haven't read the new contract, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still the same 15%.
You're supposed to be like the director of the company or whatever, signing off on this shit or whatever, aren't you?
I literally am. It's not supposed to be, but anyway, yeah. Look, it's they threw the what's the word I'm looking for here? The
Spondulix.
Irrefusable offer on the table, and I just wouldn't be the first time I signed an agreement without reading it properly.
Would explain a few players, I'd say, down through the years.
Just players?
That one went over his head there, Dick, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Allegedly.
Dickie, what did you...
my marriage license I was talking about. Jesus,
Dickie, what did you get up to for your bank holiday weekend?
Big weekend of birthdays. Dan, as people know, was my own birthday yesterday. Was my niece, who's also my goddaughter, was her birthday on Saturday. So, couple of birthday parties. My daughter organised one for me yesterday, which meant I couldn't go to Turner's Cross. In the end, I was going, and then she told me there was a birthday party that she was organising, and it was at 4:00, and you kind of can't walk out. And I'm like, they're kids, like, you don't, so I was at a birthday party with myself, my daughter, my wife, 4 teddy bears and 6 dolls in the kitchen, so it was perfect, actually. But the funny one was I was at my niece's birthday party on Saturday, and it was in my brother's house, and kids get dropped off and then they get collected. So this chap comes and collects the kids anyway or whatever, and he's there for 5 or 10 minutes just shooting the breeze, and he leaves, and my brother comes back in and he says, I think it was I think it was Peter was the chap's name. He says, he was leaving there, and he asked me, was that Decky from the podcast that was sitting in the living room? And it's like, my brother hates that shit, that it tries to fucking cuckoo, So, see, we turned out your mum was a big City fan. He was like, to my brother when they were outside, I wasn't sure whether it was him, but the second he started talking, I recognised his voice, and I knew that it was him, It's like, brother's raging. Fuck's sake, how do people know you? And I'm like, look, lad, We're big. Don't worry about it, I had
a similar one last year, Dick. It was like one of those ones where you're just like, oh no. I was at a family gathering, and a brother of mine who's not a City fan, I don't know, he bumped into some guy, was coaching GA with him or something like that, but the guy actually is a Ramblers fan. And he said it to my brother, saying, "Oh, you're no relation to Declan Carey up the north side, yeah?" And he said, "Yeah." And then he was telling them all about the Cove and the B team jingles and all this stuff, and I was just like, "Oh." Then my brother was slagging me off. He said, "You went from chairman to this stuff, slagging Cove with jingles on a podcast," and then But look, I have to fill him in then on some of the metrics and the thousands and thousands of fans that listen to us every week from Queenstown and all across the city. So you know what? It's a
across
great
the country,
across the league. Oh God,
lads, just ask for a picture the next time, lads. There's no bother. I'll sign stuff as well. There's no problem whatsoever. And actually, Dan, speaking of birthdays, big shout out to Cork City, who wished lifelong City supporter Declan a very happy birthday at halftime in the Cross yesterday. Presume somebody slipped it in. I don't know who did it. But I got a load of messages about it. So listen, fair play to the club. I knew they'd acknowledge it. As Kerry says, acknowledge me. I knew they'd come on board at some stage.
We have Toe Tap Investigates. The old City Investigates is going on in Bishopstown now. It's Wednesday at 1 p.m. Yeah. I'd say no. It'll be a nervous lunch out in Bishopstown at the moment. But look, it's all good, folks. Yeah, and happy birthday, Dick. Happy birthday.
Cheers.
Great to see you get your just rewards as well across the Turner's Cross PA. All of
it's
maybe
so funny, like it's
the largest attendance of the season without a shadow of a doubt, but still with the PA, maybe 10 people heard it. So do you know what?
Enough people heard it to message me anyway.
At least they got back to you. Fair play.
And random lads. And in fairness, now there was people there yesterday who would never have been there, and there was a lad I was in school with messaged me, going, at least I wished you happy birthday. Everything was like, were you there? I brought the swab. It was like
great amazing, to see fences mended after all these years, Dick. Do you know, is this the first olive branch we've seen now in a long time?
Possibly.
Maybe it was us reaching out to sponsor a game a couple of weeks ago, and maybe the club have chewed on that for a few weeks, and then they said, you know what, it's Declan McCormick's birthday coming up. We'll surprise him with this delightful announcement.
I'd say it was the balls to the wind banner at the back of the shed that, in the big time now. Right. There was no academy games, at least that I could see anyway, from FAI Connector. So the women's team, they lost 2-0 away from home in their all-in cup game against Athlone Town. There was no Las Damas this week, so we're going to drive it straight on now to a bit of Commie Watch.
Commie Watch with Ivan Draco on the Other Three Amigos podcast.
This podcast, I think, has to eat some humble pie on the €5 deal. Because I was listening to the last pod on the way out, and I said, I think Kerry asked, will we sell it out? And I said, not a chance. We wouldn't come close. And fair fucking play to the club. Decky, it was incredible to see a packed out Turner's Cross. The €5 ticket deal brought in some size of a crowd. And what a game to get, hopefully, the young fans who are there hooked onto Cork City football now for the year and years ahead.
If you drew it up and laid it out and said, this is how we would like it to transpire and want it to work out, it couldn't have been any better. Like, you could not have scripted it any better. Go in 2-0 down, the big comeback, 4 goals, a hat-trick for your marquee player. Big, as you said, over 5,000 there, 5,336, I think. As you said, absolute fair play to the club. Everything was just perfect. I said last week 3,200 on the back of an Easter weekend. Far succeeded that. And as I said, I'm not going your angle of eating humble pie, because I don't think there's anything to eat humble pie about, but absolutely give the club its credit, its due, pulled it off to perfection. And like, all you can do is tip your hat to them. They got it absolutely spot on.
Yeah, Kerry, you were pretty negative in terms of a season ticket holder, but what did you make of it in the end?
Look, it's hard to argue with butts in seats, Dan. Something that I've been just pushing myself the last year on this pod, and it's clear as day the club have learned some lessons about ticket pricing and stuff like that. I think it's clear to see now. I think there's enough evidence there that, lower the prices and people will come. I think there was a lot of things going in the club's favour. I do feel maybe there was a little bit of, like, look, the club were maybe nervous about the bank holiday Easter Monday game, and they lowered the prices to try and, raise a bit of hype and profile about it. I did like the fact that they were pushing this on Red FM. There was ads, I think, across a few different places, and I think there were social media ads being pushed. So they really did give it a good push. And, financial wise, I'd say they probably came out with, slightly more than, even if they got maybe, say, 2,100, 2,200 at their regular pricing. So look, there's absolutely nothing lost. Probably a little bit of financial gain. and hope, as you said, they got a fantastic game. Anyone that did go as a newcomer, and there was definitely plenty of newcomers. Like, there was guys I'm even pally with, like, were texting me like at 2:00 on the day saying, "You heading to the match today?" And that actually was what got me thinking. And I was saying, "Geez, if this fella's going to the game, what's the story here?" But then I realised he's got a kid. He was probably on the lash on Easter Sunday, and the missus was like, "You better take him now, take the young fella out and get out of the house." And I think, Deck, you said something similar as well on the pod last week. And there's a lot of blokes and women in that situation, like, where, it's a bank holiday, the kids are off for so long and they just want something to do. And, they're then pulling their parents saying, "It's only a fiver, come on, we'll all go." Like, and, look, it was just the perfect storm. Can't really criticise it too much other than, look, yeah, it's good to see. And hopefully it's the more longer term a sign that the club realise that, we need to price this league accordingly. And, going back to those prices of last year when we were in the Premier Division, like, can't happen again. And it's clear that we will be in the Premier Division next year. So the club has enough now, hopefully, data and numbers and analysis into this. And there's some opportunities maybe as well for the rest of the season. Maybe the game where we're lifting the trophy, let's pack the cross again. Things like that. So, kudos to the club. I'll shut up now, Dan. You'll be glad to know.
Do you think, Dickie, the club will have made so much more from merch than they ever would have in any other night? And you're more likely to buy it, I feel like. Not that I am a parent, but if the ticket's a fiver, you can justify that scarf, you can justify that hat, you can justify that jersey. They want an awful lot more than if the ticket's worth their regular pricing.
100%. And even if they were at the regular pricing, you take a kid in, and like you walk, and to be fair, where they have the hut, they have a hut selling merch. As you walk in the main gate to Turner's Cross and you go up the trees, the hut just bang in front of you. It's the first thing kids see. And the first women's game I took my daughter to, the hut was open. I couldn't get past the hut without buying a scarf, And we went back to the second game and she was all set to get a hat, but the thing wasn't actually open. So she didn't get the hat. But the only reason she didn't get it was because, and Scotty's talking about this for ages, like, you get kids in, they buy merch, they make the parents buy merch. Because they obviously cleaned up in merch yesterday, which is fantastic. Every penny that comes in is a blessing, And the only thing is they probably really, there's only one other opportunity to do it again, which is probably the August bank holiday weekend, because the kickoff time had a huge impact on it. Like 5:00 allows you to bring the kids, it allows you to bring the 5-year-old, the 6-year-old. 7:45 doesn't on a Friday night, and that's nobody's fault. That's just life, So we're away the May bank holiday weekend in Tralee on the Monday. The August bank holiday weekend, ironically enough, we're away again to Finn Harps on the Friday, and then we're at home to Athlone on that bank holiday Monday. So that's probably the only opportunity. I know Dex there says the night we lift the trophy, and yeah, absolutely 100%. But just for that 5:00 kickoff time, it's that August bank holiday Monday is probably the only time you get to do it again. And obviously the club will know that, and I'm sure they'll be all over it again. They have to be after the success of Monday gone.
Kerry, anything to add before we move on with this one?
No, I'll just resonate with what Deck was saying there. And we didn't actually have the cojones to go ahead with it. But like, I have two, they're almost 3 now in July. We'll call them 2.5-year-olds. And this was actually on Monday at around 1 or 2 o'clock. I joked to her and said, "Do you know the tickets for the match today are only a £5?" And my missus just looked at me and was like, "What match?" No, I was obviously at the league final the day before. And she was like, "You've had enough matches now this weekend." And I was like, no, Cork City are playing at 5:00. Like, we could nearly bring them. We'll throw them into the buggies and see how long they last. And she just looked at me like I had 10 heads. Like, she was like, "I am not bringing the two of them out to Turner's Cross and the prams." Like, I was like, all right. But she did say then, maybe in another year, let me know when the next fiver deal is on, she says. Because mine is, you'd want to pay my missus to go into Turner's Cross, to be honest. But yeah.
But surely the vendors and everything will be very happy.
Huge.
Oh, God, yeah, Dan. Yeah, you can't argue it. As Dex said there, what was it, over 5,300. Everyone benefits from it. Vendors, merch. You know, I'm sure the club staff are getting a big boost from it as well, and great motivation for them to say, like, you know, geez, this is actually what's out there, and this is the support that's potentially available in Cork. And if we just do the right things, communicate with the public well, communicate with our core fan base well, communicate with season ticket holders, I still think we have a lot of work to do there. To regain their trust over a rough couple of years, nearly half a decade now, to be fair. And I just think there's huge opportunity. Like, the thing with football is it's cyclical, and there's always a chance to recover, as long as you just don't go bust completely. So, look, we'll wait and see now how the off-season plays out this year. But it's looking good.
On the fixture front, our Munster Senior Cup semi-final game against the Fingerlickers, that will take place next Tuesday evening at 7:45 in Mayfield for anyone wanting to go to that one. Meath FC, Decky, was launched today. You seemed pretty impressed with that video that they did in fairness to them. It was a pretty good launch. The only thing is, I went and Googled it. That ground is fucking ages from the town, so it's going to be a balls to get to.
Oh yeah, but look, I mean, this is a long-term project. It hasn't even been signed off on by the FAI yet. They just want to launch underage sides, and having read the plan or read what they've put out, etc., the plan is not to go for League of Ireland third tier until the late 20s, even early 2030s, 2031, 2032, something like that. And the thought process is that you build through the underage, and then when those underage graduates are ready to come through, they go in and they put a senior team into the League of Ireland third division, as our third tier as it would be at the time. Listen, we need more clubs with ambition. We need more areas. We need a better geographical spread of clubs. Some might argue, oh, Meath is right on Dublin's arse and whatnot. But listen, if people want to go do it and they want to put the time and effort, then it should be encouraged. And
that happens a fair bit away. You're probably encompassing, you know, Monaghan United fans from back in the day, Cavan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your North Meath as well. It's a pretty big county, like.
No, absolutely. And like, as I said, I think it's always to be welcome. Mayo have, you know, taken the jump. Kerry obviously are the big success story at the moment.
Yeah, they're the model, really, I think, for counties like that, in fairness. But look, the facilities is the big one, Dick, for me. Like, yeah. Like, I remember Saltfield Devon back in the day, and Moorview United, and like
100%. But if they're only coming in at underage level, like, we play underage games in Bishopstown, like, we can't.
Oh yeah, of course.
We can't talk to anybody about underage facilities.
It's just looking at the longer term, like, you know.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like I said, but if it's early 2030s, Jesus, we'll be all men by then. Toe tap towers will be falling down.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like, geez, I would just love to see, like, fantastic top class facilities for when they do come potentially into that third tier, for example. Not have their, you know, single pitch with half a stand.
Well, this comes into what McLean said earlier today of his Instagram story. The lack of funding this league gets is evident week in, week out, and how awful all the playing surfaces are. As a league, we are so far behind, it's insane and sad, really. Then he says, better investment equals better pitches, better facilities, better academies, better, stronger league, and ultimately having all the above, therefore, can only give the national team a much better chance of succeeding.
But we've been saying this for 10 years. Like people go, oh, James McLean's after saying this about facilities. We fucking know that. Everybody knows it. We don't need James McLean to tell us. Like,
he's just a name deck that will grab headlines.
I understand that.
Nonsense talk.
McLean is right up there with possibly the worst buys of the off season, the worst transfers in the if I were him, I'd be much more encouraged. And listen, I understand that he's right. He's 100% right. But when Derry, like, Drew and Sligo yesterday, they're appalling. Like, if I were him, I'd have my head down. I'd be concentrating on trying to play football, not blaming the pitch in Sligo yesterday. And I'm not going to have us blaming the pitch in Finn Harps either later on, you know. Pitches are pitches in this league. He fucking, like, McLean is making excuses for Derry City within the context of that, of what he's talking about, more so than anything else. He's 100% correct. but the motivation is not his desire to improve Irish football. It's to cover, Derry drew 0-0 away in Sligo and McLean is baiting on about the pitch in Sligo. He's correct. But that's his motivation, is to try and cover the result and give excuses for the result. And the other stuff is far down his intended lines, I think.
Well, if it just sounds like we've been blasted into a wind tunnel, we are joined by Dominic, Dom, on his honeymoon in Mexico. Totap have finally come home, Dom. I promise you 15 minutes on the pod. You have 15 minutes. So look, whatever you're going to fucking say, go say it.
And he's wearing the Totap t-shirt and Totap logo. Dom, you've surely been stopped by some of the locals, like saying, "Hola, senor." Like what?
No, I did think this is the perfect place to have it, to be fair. I was hoping to get an actual sombrero to match the Totap logo, but they're quite expensive, apparently. So, yeah, we'll leave that off. But no, it is good that Totap is finally at home where we belong in our natural habitat. While we're on it, does anyone know how to get to Totap Towers from here? Where is it?
Albuquerque. Are you in Albuquerque? Are you? Anywhere near Albuquerque? No, Albuquerque. No, that's New Mexico. Albuquerque's in Texas, isn't it?
Albuquerque, I suppose.
I'm wrong here, but
yeah, no, that's in the United States.
Yeah, I was thinking that. All right, fuck's sake. Anyway.
Dom, you wanted some time on Commie Watch. You wanted to bring up something. What did you want to bring up?
Just said I'd call in and see what have you discussed so far? What have I missed?
We're not coming back over. We haven't mentioned what you wanted to mention. We put it that way.
Oh yeah. So will we launch into that?
Go on. Whatever. I don't know what this is.
I don't either.
Dermot Usher refusing to meet with FORAS from now on.
Oh yes. Go on.
Well, I know everyone has kind of opinions on that and stuff, and I just wanted to put my opinion across that it is...
The floor is yours.
Absolute bullshit that he doesn't want to meet with FORAS anymore, because it's all well and fine to say that he's taken a step back from public meetings, or what was the words to use?
PR and public meetings, media. Yeah.
That's all well and fine, but an annual meeting with the fans and a quarterly meeting with board management isn't that, it's not going to put him out to do that. I think it's kind of veiled there that it's not just that he's taken a step back from all that. It's clear that he just has no interest in meeting with the fans and being questioned on everything. That's my opinion on it. I think it's wrong.
Decky, you're looking to come in.
I'm just going to play devil's advocate, and that's all I'm doing. But like Dom and the rest of you guys, there isn't another owner of a League of Ireland club who meets with fans on a regular basis, or who meets with the board of, I don't want to call it FORAS a fans group, but you know what I mean? They're not involved in running with the club. They're an independent outside group. Mm-hmm. And from that point of view, I think, does Dermot have any obligation to meet anybody? I'd argue he probably doesn't. Within the confines of the agreement with FORAS, it says Dermot are his representative. He's sending in as his representative, so he's fulfilling the terms of the obligation. And what's the issue?
I'll just jump in on that one, Dick. Look, obviously that was put in that agreement, from the best of my memory, because it was raised there was a timeline as well, within 60 days of the club publishing its annual accounts or something like that, as the meeting would take place. But we had to put something in there because, what if he couldn't make it due to some unfortunate circumstances? Anything could happen. That's why it was put there. He stood up there in front of the members that day. I think it was it December 3rd, 2022, and said this was an answer, I think, to a question that was given to him. It was are you going to have anyone from FORAS as a kind of an advisor on your board or anything like that? And he was like, no, but I will have an annual meeting with the fans and I will meet quarterly with the FORAS board. And he was pushing that. Obviously he was trying to sell himself and just get the votes, but ultimately this is what's leaving a sour taste in a lot of people's minds about it. And I completely agree with you. Like, you know, do all the owners around the league all do this? I'd say some of them probably do. Might organise maybe an informal kind of get-together at the start of the season with volunteers, fans maybe. Who knows? A lot of clubs are smaller anyway, so, you know, wouldn't be as much of an issue. But, like, Cork City is a huge club, and he's realised, I'd say, that he's bit off more than he can chew when it comes to those meetings. And, look, it's his prerogative. He's exploited a little bit of wording in the agreement, and said, feck it, I'm not going to do it anymore. And look, it's in the agreement that I can send a nominated representative. But, like, he went to enough of them, and, you know, he went to, I think, 2 then with the fans. But it's just clear as day that he doesn't like the style of questioning that comes at these, or I don't want to speculate. Maybe he's fallen out with FORAS because FORAS has been a bit stern with him in terms of, like, putting out statements on ticket pricing and stuff like that. And maybe he just feels like, you know, he's not feeling the love from FORAS or the fans, so why should he reciprocate? I'm just purely speculating. Obviously, haven't spoken to Dermot or anything like that or anyone in the club about this, but it's just unfortunate because I was obviously part of putting that agreement together where he committed to meeting the fans annually, FORAS annually, and meeting the board quarterly. And it's just unfortunate now. Like, I'm sure the board could, most of the lads on the board of FORAS could pick up the phone and just call Aina anytime they want. And Aina's that type of guy. And I think he's gone to the last couple of them and stuff. And that's fine. But, like, it was never intended that this would be Aina every 3 months meeting the FORAS board. I can guarantee that. Like, and I think the proof was in the pudding with the first couple because Dermot was there. I think I went to one of them. It was just towards the tail end of my FORAS tenure. So I met with Dermot once as chairman of FORAS and the rest of the board. And that was my first and last time. And then it's just unfortunate. I'm leaning towards agreeing with Dominic on it. I completely get where you're coming from, Dick, and being Dev's advocate. But ultimately he committed to this, and it's just another disappointing aspect of the ownership.
And that's the thing, because as Dick, he said, other clubs possibly aren't doing it. We don't know, maybe they are, but it's not out there. There's not such a big thing about other clubs doing it. But the difference is other clubs didn't have an agreement put into their, or other owners didn't have an agreement put into their sale agreement that they would. And like you said, there was something put into the clause to give him help if he couldn't make a meeting, and he's kind of taking advantage of that. I don't.
Yeah, and
like
there's other stuff in there too, Dick, like about FORAS having first option if he doesn't find a suitable successor and this kind of stuff. Like, so he is still kind of tied to FORAS in some extent, albeit very, very slim chance that ever happens anyway. We know that there are people out there interested. It's just that the price is too high potentially, is what we're hearing, and it's alleged. So he does have to maintain some semblance of a relationship with FORAS to that extent, and this quarterly meeting was a good way to keep a good touch point with sensible lads that kind of know the club and could give him advice, but he just seems to be attacking this from all the wrong directions.
But surely this is a smart move now, him just stepping away from
the media and
from
things
the
like
public
that.
life as it is, like, and everyone will be all the happier for it.
Dan, but meeting Darren O'Keefe, Shane O'Connor, Joe Leog, you know, Martin Guevara, like these lads, like, come on, like, they're not, Dan, in all fairness. It's
Dan, can I just say, like, and this is my opinion, he stepped away from the public aspect after he did the Dipper interview with Johnny Ward, right? He hasn't been seen or heard of since. Johnny Ward said on League of Ireland Central maybe 2 or 3 weeks after that interview went out that Dermot had contacted him and kind of maybe tried to argue the point that it doesn't read the way I meant it. It doesn't read the way I said it. And Johnny was kind of like, well, that's what was said and I put it into writing. You know what I mean? And since that point, that's the last we heard from Dermot, was because that went so badly wrong. And I mean, it did go, like, I'm not sure people really kind of feel the impact of it, but it went badly wrong. And there's a lot of people out there who are just kind of like, this guy thinks I'm a dipper, I don't give a shit. But then on Monday, the price is a $5, and fellas who were like, knows out a joint, or all of a sudden, well, I can go for £5 now and I can bring the young fella and watch. So there's give and take, you know. But this isn't the new thing. This is 10, 12 months old in terms of stepping back from the public face and podcasts and interviews with the media and everything else. To know at this stage, 10 months, lob the FORAS meetings in on the back of that, I think is a mistake. I genuinely think it's a mistake. I think the two lads are correct. At some stage, everybody has to answer tough questions. No matter what you do in life, at some stage, somebody's going to ask you tough questions. And then you got to front up or you disappear. And Dermot's gone with the I'm disappearing option, which I think is the wrong road to take. And I think it probably reflects poorly on Dermot. I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's a good look. He's not outside the bounds of the agreement, but he's outside of the spirit of the agreement.
Yeah. And that's my 100% feeling on it, Dick.
And I think when you're outside the spirit of something, while technically you can be correct, people just go, no, yeah, technically you're correct. The contract is worded that way. Yeah, technically you're correct, but
and then
you're wrong.
There was all the nonsense too, Dick. There was all that nonsense around December as well, where he couldn't join the meeting in person, and then they offered to do it over Zoom, and then he said he didn't like doing it over Zoom. So then the board wanted to have it in person, but then they ended up having it on Zoom anyway, where he probably could have just dialed in. Like me, and then we had all the stuff obviously then that he was dealing with in the background with John Nash, his buddy, the former manager. So like, you know, I'd imagine like maybe that is probably another reason he's kind of like, do you know what, I'm just going to stay away from all this now, because like you bring in your own manager and ends up with egg on his face in a lot of regards.
Dom, you have the last word on this.
Yeah, I think everything's already been covered. Really, it's a case of, to me, it comes down to accountability. Everyone's accountable. It's responsibility. You have to be a man. You have to accept things you don't like sometimes. If you make a mistake, you have to own it. But it also comes down to, if you give your word. Like if you say you're going to do something, you do it. If you don't, then it's not a very good reflection of somebody. So I think you're only as good as your word, and it's shown now that isn't really anything.
I think was shown a lot longer than that. Although I might as well stay with you now anyway, because I may as well stay with you now anyway, because I'm going to give you 10 minutes to talk about the fucking 2 games you wanted. What was the point you wanted to make?
There wasn't really a point in particular. I just said I'd jump in for that part, and I suppose I didn't watch the Harps game because I was busy at the time, but I did watch the highlights after, and I'll watch it back then when I get back to Ireland. But from what I could see by the highlights, and it seems to be completely wrong based on what has been said in the forum and online and everything, but from the highlights, it reminded me a lot of the Treaty game, the opening game of the season, where we had a lot of attempts. We were very much in control of the game, but not able to break them down. And like there's only so much you can say based on watching a 5-minute highlight video. But that's the impression I got of it. It's one of those things that this was a game last season where we got a 0-0 draw against Bows or something, and we were the team in control and we were attacking, that you'd be kind of happy about it. But in the first division against Finn Harps, it's not a great reflection.
Well, Dom, don't put yourself through that torture anyway whenever you do get back to your side, because it's not worth it, my friend. How is your honeymoon going? Well, look, we'll do this bit first, and then we can come back and circle the Kerry game. And if you want to jump off then whenever you want, all right? How's the honeymoon going? Congratulations to yourself and Jennifer, by the way.
Thank you. How's the honeymoon going? I suppose
you were too busy to watch the Harps game anyway, so you can imagine yourself.
I was in New York. We were actually, for the Harps game, I was doing a helicopter tour of New York at the time. So that's probably better than watching that game. But yeah, overall, I mean, started off with that awful 0-0 draw against North Macedonia, but at least we got a few points. There was a bit of crack, and then New York is a nice place, to be fair, but it stinks of weed and piss. It's too busy. There's some weirdos around, and other than that, that stupid song. I heard beforehand that you're going to hear that Jay-Z and Alicia Keys song everywhere, and I was like, surely not. But it's literally everywhere, and two talentless pieces of shit with a terrible song, and I'm traumatized from it. I'm actually if I ever hear that song again, I'll fucking jump off the balcony.
I could see Decky eyeing up making a joke about the smell of weed and piss. They're going to compare it to Bishopstown or something anyway.
I was going to the narrow street at the back of Reardon's was where I was going to compare it to be honest.
Yeah, it's like that but bigger. But Mexico's been nice. I haven't seen any toe tap merchandise around though, which I thought would be selling lots of.
Yeah, you have to go to Albuquerque for that, though.
Albuquerque, yeah, that's it. It's way too warm here. It's 30 degrees, but it feels like 37 degrees. I got badly sunburnt yesterday, and I've been sick then as a result of it. And yeah, I do you know what? I could do with a bit of rain.
There you go. Well, look, congratulations to you. And by the way, you got a signed City shirt as a gift for your wedding, and Niall O'Keefe did in fact sign it, albeit before you called him a fat bastard.
Stop the fucking presses here now, lads. Hold on now. He gets a signed City jersey as a wedding gift from everyone in Bishopstown. Declan McCormack gets a happy birthday announcement in Turner's Cross in front of over 5,000 roaring fans. What? Am I in bizarro land here? Are we actually moving the pod to Albuquerque, New Mexico, or what? Like, is there something changing? What's going on?
Are you jealous, Dick?
I'm not jealous. I just think there's definitely olive branches here, lads. This is like, we've gone from daggers being thrown here now and dodgy looks to happy birthdays on the PA, wedding gifts signed by a guy that you fucking insulted. No, you did apologise.
Can you smell that, lads? That's the smell of a climb down, is it?
Oh, jeez, I'd say it is.
Which is a beautiful thing.
Will you frame it, Dom?
Yeah, I'll get it framed with the other ones.
All right.
And no, it is class, to be fair. And I am very grateful for them for signing it and putting the time to doing that. But yeah, I'll get it signed, hanging up in the office with the other ones. So yeah, it'd be a nice addition.
Well, there was the one of Greg Bulger, and it looks like it says "I love Kerry" on it, but thank Christ it says "Love
Fantastic.
Greg." I actually said to Dom when he showed me, "Don't show Kerry." I was like, "Jeez, we'll never hear the fucking
Greg
end of
Bulger
it."
does in fact love Kerry anyway, but do you know, it could be either way, Dan. To be honest, I thought it was "I love Kerry" too. There's a rumour out there that it says "I blame Kerry." I don't know where that would even come from. Before you jump in with it there, Mr. McCormack.
That's the way I read it. I blame Kerry.
No.
But no.
I think Greg wrote "I love Kerry," which, you know.
Well, no, to be fair, it really does look like I love Kerry, and I was like, this is brilliant. This is hilarious. And when I looked really closely, it's "Love Greg." So
yeah, do you know what? I was you're lucky I didn't actually sign the jersey myself, Dominic. You know, I happened to be wandering out in Bishopstown as well, and I know it's Commie Watch, but we're still in the segment. But geez, the reception is looking fantastic now. You know, it's got that artwork up of the trophies and nicely well designed. There's new carpet. It's been well painted and presented. It no longer looks like the kind of dingy, crappy entrance that gives you a very poor reflection of the club when you first come into the training ground. So I was very impressed when I saw it, and thanks to everyone at Bishopstown too for the kind hospitality.
what is it? When were you out there?
Yeah,
Next
we're
segment,
talking
Dan.
shit, Dom.
Oh, right, fuck's sake.
Cork City 4 and Fingerlickers 2, as we said, brilliant 5,336, around about that, in the cross. The big one coming out of this one, Decky, we'll go to you straight away first here. Is Keith Dunn in the team for the time being? You're down 2-0 at half time. Robson's looking at his team. He's looking at one of his marquee strikers, and he goes, "You're not coming on for the second half, buddy."
Back it up to Friday night now for a second, just because we were here and we were talking about the Athlone game and the change in formation and Shawnee playing a little deeper and Keats and Hans, and we said it was Hans' best game, it was Keats' best game. And then the manager went back and he changed it, and Hans ends up out on the left in Finn Park on Friday night. Now, the place, like that pitch up there was an absolute, it was like a cow patch, like, you know? It was like the cows were taken in for milking about 20 minutes before the game started, you know? That's how bad it was. But not offering excuses, because I'm not willing to offer excuses. We're the pro team, and the stuff that Barry had afterwards about Finn Harps only wanted to sit in, and they're entitled to. You're allowed to play football like that, you know. The onus is on us to break them down, and we couldn't. And like we had 20 shots on goal. And what we had on target, 20 on goal, 7 on target. But our XG was only 1.33 or something like that. Because we ended up with pot shots and stuff from long distance. And I think we got frustrated. There was one in the first half where Fiacre Keller took a shot from about 30 yards. And it probably ended up out of the ground. It might have cleared the whole county of Donegal by the time it was done, like, you know. And there was times just like, let's just put our foot in the ball. I know it's hard to pass it, but let's try and be a bit more patient and be a bit more in control. You then go into yesterday's game, Monday's game, and you have the same thing. Hans is back and kind of looking at it going, Jesus Christ almighty, could we not do what we did against Athlone? And then it's only at half time when we come out second half, we're back in that 2 up top, 2 wide men, fullbacks overlapping or underlapping. Well, one of the fullbacks overlapping, which was Conor Drinan, and underlapping, and Killian Murphy just been given freedom with no underlapping or overlapping fullback crowding the space to just take the fullback apart for a half, which is what he did. And I kind of look at the manager and I go, there's times you need to be better here. And all the focus is on Keats. And I get that. And you asked the question to answer it. Yeah, I think it's time Keats sits for a couple of games just for his own benefit, because we all know he's struggling, and we've made the point numerous times, you have a year to allow him to play himself back into form. But there comes a time as well where you have to kind of go, okay, let's make a conscious decision here to look after the lad, give him a chance to just find his feet again and leave him out for a week or so, 2 weeks. That only works if he changes the formation, so that when Keats comes back in, it's a 2 with himself and Shawnee. And whoever the 2 wide men it might be it, you know, Killian Murphy and Josh, or Killian in the centre and Josh right on one side and Matt Murray, or whoever it might be, Drinan, whatever. You have to play to players' strengths, and I just don't feel like we're playing to Keith's strengths at the moment. So yes, I'm leaving him out next Friday night in Treaty, but I'm not leaving him out as a punishment, or I'm not leaving him out as a you need to be better. I'm leaving him out to make the team better and to get my formation right, so that when he comes back in, you say to Hans, right, you're going to sit next Friday night. No, whoever it might be, I can't remember the fixtures coming up. In 2 weeks' time, you're sitting that Friday night, and Keats is coming back in, and he's coming back into a 2 with Shawnee, and he's playing in a more comfortable role and playing the way he's best at playing. And I think that has to come from the manager. And like, I'm not criticising Barry Robson here, don't get me wrong. I just think there's things he could be doing with the setup that would be not just helping Keats, but would be helping Hans and would be helping Shawnee. Because like Shawnee spoke about it after the game against Kerry, about, I was deeper in the first half and he wanted me to pick the ball up and try and get the lads running off me and things like that. And it worked a couple of times. But Shawnee knows in his heart and soul it didn't work. And it didn't really work against Athlone, even though we said it was Hans' best performance and it was Keith's best performance. But that Athlone game, it wasn't Shawnee's best performance. It could arguably been his poorest performance of the season. So there's elements that the management can help in terms of just the setup. And like, I believe it's time to just go, as we were second half against Kerry, a flat 4, two wide men, pure like Scotty, 4-4-2, get the ball in the box. And like, God forgive me for saying it and backing Scotty up, but like, I think it's where it needs to go, because Friday night was terrible. Like, grand, we travelled the length of the country, the pitch was a cow patch, but it was just slow, monotonous, and you can blame Finn Harps, you can blame the pitch. We're playing on those types of pitches because we ended up in the first division. Finn Harps are entitled to sit in with their low block, and we spoke about this last week. Like, and Kerry came yesterday and they scored. I said, don't be surprised if Kerry score first. Like 2 minutes in, it's a penalty. And I don't see many Cork City fans saying it's not a penalty. Fiacre has his hands up here over his head. The ball hits him. What are you doing? That first half yesterday from Fiacre Kelleher was one of the worst halves I've seen any defender at any level have. Like, let's call a spade a spade. And at half time, when we were 2-0 down, if we were recording a podcast or we had been watching live, I would have been saying, listen, the club have done everything here that the club can do to get people in the door. At times, there's a responsibility on the management and the players to help the club out. And yesterday was one of those times. And the players and the management had to help the club out by putting on a show, scoring goals, and saying to those 5,300 people, you guys need to come back and see more of this the next time we're at home. And at half time, we were so far away from that. It was frightening. And I would have taken the players apart at half time yesterday if we were doing a watch along. But we weren't. And they came out second half. And it was so much better with the change of formation. And he took Heats off. And you can't argue with it because it's clearly the correct. Do you know what? The manager clearly got it correct. We scored 4 goals in the second half, albeit 2 of them against 10 men. But like Borden, who, when he joined Kerry, we all kind of went, Jesus Christ, what's Borden going on there? You listen to Kerry fans and you read stuff in the build-up to the game, they're all saying Borden's useless. He's been absolutely crap. And he was fucking rubbish yesterday, lads. And he got him sent off when he was on a yellow card for swinging out of Fiacre Kelleher. And as much as I would criticise Fiacre Kelleher for the first half performance, giving away the penalty, about 6 or 7 minutes later, he tried stepping up very late to play offside, and Aaron Healy timed his run, and Healy was in 1-on-1, but he put it wide. He gave away 2 free kicks in the opposition penalty box, one for a foul, one for being offside. All of this was in the first 20 minutes, and I was absolutely tearing my hair out. But second half, he wins the penalty for the equaliser. He scores the goal that puts us ahead. And that's brilliant, but it's all in the attacking side. The defensive side needs an awful lot of work. Like, and again, you're no projecting to next season, but like, Fiacre has to be better.
We've seen enough of him now, Decky, to know he's not up to it for Premier Division, surely. Like,
well, the thing is, Dan, for their second goal yesterday, yeah, like, that's the way it looks at the moment. For their second goal yesterday, he gave away the throw-in and he's over on the line. They take the fast throw-in. And like, I was like Fiacre. He was way better than me, but I was slow as a wet week. And Fiacre doesn't have pace. And when you're a centre-back who doesn't have pace, you can't be lazy. You can't be lazy in your movements. You can't be lazy in your thinking. And from that throw-in yesterday, Fiacre was lazy, in my opinion. He was just kind of strolling back. It'll be grand. Oh, shit. The other Kelleher has the ball and he's now done our full back. And by the time Fiacre realises what's happening, it's too late to get in and he's sliding in as the ball's been knocked in. But if he's more tuned in and he's not lazy in his thinking, he knows from the free or from the throw-in, they've done us once with a fast throw-in, they can do us again, and he's just moving that bit faster and he's getting himself back in position. And maybe he's in position to stop that second goal. And this is what I'm talking about. And it's, like, I'm not being negative because I came on and I was going to be all positive. But that was a stinker of a first half from Fiacre Kelleher. Better second half, but there are serious questions long-term, as you said, about defensive ability in the Premier Division, especially when there's no pace. Because when there's no pace, you can't recover.
Mm-hmm.
You get away with shit when you have pace because the pace allows you to recover. You get away with nothing when you don't have pace.
Dom, you'll be gone for the mailbag. We've got plenty of questions about it. Where do you stand on the Keats situation?
Yeah, I still maintain that we need to stand by him, but Becky is right in the sense that maybe what he needs is to be left out for a week or so. But exactly as Becky said, it's not a long-term thing. You're not punishing him, you're not dropping him, you're not replacing him. Maybe he just needs a week to, I don't know, get his head right or something on the pitch, because there's still that confidence issue is my fear. And you can argue that maybe it wasn't the right thing to sub him off for his confidence, but when you look at the result and when you look at the fact that it was clearly beneficial in the end, then it was clearly the right thing to do. But the other side of it is the fact he played on Friday as well. So, it's when after this serious injury that he had last year, no harm to sub him off at halftime yesterday. But should he be starting next Friday? Yeah, it's a tough one. I'd be, I'd be happy either way. If he's not starting, I'd understand it. But as long as Decky said, it's for his good. As long as it's to get everything else right, not a case of you're not good enough. I do think, again, we've said it so many times recently, we can't be turning on players so quickly. And I saw a lot of comments and a lot of things said since yesterday about kind of getting stuck into him a bit. I don't think that's the right thing to do. Like we've said before, we have the time now to let him play himself into form. So that's it. But you're right in that the formation isn't suiting him. And I don't think the formation is suiting us in general. I think a 4-4-2 is the right way to go. And I would like to see us switch to that.
Wayne will be a happy man. What did you make about AJ Bridge getting taken off for Bulger? I didn't really see that one coming up. Didn't think he did much out of place to warrant him getting taken off.
Yeah, it's one of those. That first half was particularly bad for everyone. There was nobody had a good first half. There was a particularly bad game. So somebody had to come off. I don't think AJ Bridge did anything. Like, he wasn't any worse than anyone else. So I'd imagine it's more he had to make some bit of a change. He had to take somebody off, and it just happened to be AJ Bridge as opposed to that he did anything in particular that was out of the way. And clearly it worked. Like the second half, we were very good, and I thought Greg was very good in the second half too. So it was, that was very, very, probably one of our better performances of the season.
Kerry, as we said earlier, you couldn't have scripted it better, really, the way it all panned out. Your marquee striker gets himself a hat-trick. It was an incredible moment to send the fans away, buzzing after Barton as well, play acting, trying to soften his second yellow card, and then he gets up and he's red carded straight after. And then there's a goal. It's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, Sean, he made comments, I think, in his post-match as well about,
he did
that incident, and I think he referred to the goalkeeper wasting time as well and stuff like that. And look, again, going back to Decky's point about Finn Harps and what they're entitled to, Kerry are more than entitled to as well to come to Turner's Cross and try and frustrate the living daylights out of us and use every dark art they possibly can. They're underdogs and we're the fully professional outfit. So, they're 2-0 up away from home. They brought a nice, decent-sized away travel too, lads, and they almost filled that whole away section.
They have a great support, in fairness to me. Look at social media, they're everywhere.
We won't have an away crowd like that, I'd say, until they come back again. But look, brilliant for Shawnee. He just had to take the limelight off of Dylan McGlade, who got a hat-trick as well on the same round of fixtures. So we can't leave the podcast go without saying congrats to our old pal Dylan McGlade. Another hat-trick for the Bucks. But look, Shawnee's header as well. I'd say Jonas will be disappointed. He should have been favourite to win that ball, and he let City back into it. Shawnee was behind him, but he still managed to get up and get ahead to it. I think he misjudged the flight of the ball a bit, and I think he'll be disappointed. And then, of course, the penalty came in. Then that Fiacre one. Brilliant stuff. Bolger played a fantastic ball too as well, I think, for was it Shawnee's third goal. He slipped in Pongo and he brought it right down to the byline, and great ball across from Pongo, and Shawnee flattered himself against the upright as well, I think, knocking it in, so he wasn't to be denied for getting his hat-trick. So look, all in all, brilliant night for everyone. that paid €5 in. On the Keating situation, I am leaning on leaving him out potentially, but when you're playing the bottom team in the league next, and he is a striker, and Dom, you kind of referred to the confidence thing, I'd probably give him a shot on as a Friday night away to Treaty.
But what if he doesn't score?
Yeah,
If he doesn't, then yeah,
the only fear there is Treaty are like as stale and bad as all the other teams are at sitting back. Treaty are the worst for that, so they're going to have probably everyone behind the ball for the entire 90 minutes, so it will be difficult.
Keats had a great chance early in the first half against Harps the other night, kind of around the penalty spot. Remember that? And you kind of have to score, and he put it straight at the keeper. And I think that killed him. I think it's one of those moments, like if he scores there, I think the confidence is up and everything comes from that.
Especially after a good performance the week before, like he was good.
You don't score, and I think it just gets in your head again, and that's why that's why I'd leave him out Friday night. I think you just need to step away from it for a minute and think, as I said, long term, I don't have much doubt that he plays himself back into form. But look,
do you think he will be left out, Dick?
I think he
I know
will,
you think he should.
Yeah, I think he will. I think he will.
Yeah.
I think he'll pull the trigger on it this time. And and here's the thing, Dick. If he doesn't, I think questions have to be asked. And that sounds mad, and I know, and I'm not having to go off air, but I think it's kind of clear to everybody, or clear to a lot of people, that it needs to happen, and the structure and the formation needs to change. And I think if we go up the treaty with 3 up top and Keats in the front and then Pongo out the left again and whatnot, I'd kind of just go,
yeah,
come here now, do you know?
Yeah. Especially after getting
good managers,
4 goals.
Good managers adapt their formations and adapt their systems to suit the players that they have. I think now it's time that we see some adaptation of the system to suit the players that we have. That's my view.
I think the 4 goals in the second half, Dick, we'll definitely see an adapted system and possibly some changes. We have to, we were 2-0 down at home to Kerry. He'll say he, created some magic at half time and with the subs and all that, and we scored 4 goals. But look, still, the jury's out.
We're a full round done of games in the first division. 23 points on the board, 18 goals. I think that's now working at what? 92
points a game. It's 9 games, 2 goals. So 36 twos is 72 then.
There you go.
Goals.
Are we on course, Dom, for our 102 points and 100 goals?
No, not the 102 points, maybe 100 points. I still think that could be there. The 100 goals, we'd want to start banging them in, which I think we can do. I mean, we've gone 4 in the last 4 goals in 2 of our last 3 games, so that's a good sign.
I'm resigned to just having an invincible season now. I can't see us losing after Monday, to be honest. So I'd say invincible season is probably the more likely outcome.
That to me is the main thing as well. Yeah, well, look, we've been joking about the 100 points thing and everything, but not losing is key. And I was quite concerned yesterday when we went 2 down that that was the end of it. Last thing on the match yesterday, and then I will leave ye at it, but I don't know if you spoke about the €5 tickets. Yes, already.
We did, but
just a little bit,
yeah, very, very quickly. It's a great lesson for the club and everything that you charge a low price, like a €5, gets people in the door, but a good performance is what keeps them. So we've definitely made some new fans by that second half. The second half was so good. There was the excitement there was that bit of jeopardy. Whatever about if we had won 4-0 or something, it'd be one thing, but being 2 goals down at half time to come back and win 4-2, I think it was the perfect game for it to happen. And overall, definitely be making a profit on that in terms of future sales and everything. So.
I've seen someone had it up in their Instagram story, Andy from the Examiner, I think it was. He took his nephew or son or somebody to the game, and after he just put up like whatever the young fella had said it was, "Oh, I want to go back again next Friday."
Of course you do.
Like after, like, you know, that's what's going to happen now, which never would have happened if tickets were priced as such. Dom, we'll leave you go. Jennifer's beckoning you, I'd say.
Right, lads. One last thing for Treaty Friday. My prediction is 4-0 City. You can discuss that later anyway. So, adios, amigos.
All right,
Adios,
lad. Enjoy. So what's happening
What
next
the
one?
fuck is he doing coming on here? Seriously, like, people can't see it, like, but the backdrop, the sun is shining, there's golden sand, absolute crystal clear water, and he's talking those three gums in a podcast.
This is the same lad who gave up a holiday to go to watch the City game.
I know. Fair play.
He probably is the most dedicated City fan out there, himself and Tim O'Keefe, of course.
Can't forget Tim.
Am I missing some bet that you're going to mention Tim O'Keefe every week or something? Like,
every time we mention Tim, we have to put €10 into the charity kitty.
Actually, yeah. Actually, it was another Murph, nutmeg, whoever's come to them.
Yeah. And great assist as well, I think, for took a brilliant corner as well. For
lads, there's been no one counting him. Like, we're just going to have to give a lump sum at the end of the year. Like, so.
Yeah. Lovely dip.
Look, anything you want to add on to Kerry? Healy having the who's who of who's not back in Turner's Cross. Sticky, what did you make of the lads' performances? Bagsy, Hackenen, Brookwell.
Murphy scored.
He did. That about sums up the contribution. Penalty scored, like, you know. But all of them, like they were 2-0 up, and as I said last week, like, that's 7 times now they've scored first in a league game, and they've only won one of them. Like, you cannot keep throwing away leads. You can't. Like, and like, Bagsy will always be Bagsy. He's quick. Like, his the quick throw, the intelligent throw got them the penalty. Like Deck said, you want us to be disappointed. Yeah, I think you want us to be disappointed with that. Now, Brookwell, like, grand, like, but like, he was a sub here, and you look on it now, and you look at the players that Colin brought in there, and you kind of go, they're not players like that are going to win you anything. They're not going to win you the division. They were never going to win the division with us, innit? But like, are they going to get you in the playoffs? Full-time setup, Colin has to be under pressure down there now. Nobody wants to see that. You just set to with Greg after the game, whatever that was about, you know. There's signs that all's not well down there. But again, as Colin Healy fans and whatnot, you hope they pull it around.
What was the crack with Aaron and Bulger going down the tunnel?
Just, I guess something was, you know, something from the game or whatnot, like, you know. But yeah, it's. I guess it is what it is, like. All
right, you're smiling like you know something. You're very coy.
He definitely knows.
Even if I did know something, Dan, I wouldn't say it. Like, there's just some things just get left in the pitch, like, or whatever, like, you know. And I don't know anything, but I'm just saying, like, if
yeah.
Nah, you couldn't.
Right. Are we happy enough to leave the Fingerlickers game? Because we're a certain amount of minutes in now, which is pretty large.
Scotty's going to be pulling his...
All right. Well, that concludes the first half, so Tapper. Join us again for the second half. We'll have the mailbag, the treaty preview, as well as SB of the week. Nearly forgot about that one.
There is an SB of the week, I'll be honest with you. I think it's one of those weeks where there's nothing happened.
We'll have to call an audible. We'll have to do something on the fly. All right, stay tuned for that anyway.
Meet Evan from Cork. Evan is a research every hostel kind of guy, but Evan is also cheap. He refused to pay for international data because, in his words, I'll just use Wi-Fi. It'll be grand. Fast forward to a foggy mountain pass in Vietnam. Evan's on a motorbike. It's pitch black. Suddenly, the bike dies. No signal, no GPS, just Evan, the fog, and a very creepy silence. He stumbles upon a farmhouse where a local man looks him dead in the eye and says, "You ride more, you die." In the morning, Evan sees the truth. He was 2 minutes away from driving off a cliff into a ravine. Don't be a cliff top, Evan. Staying connected isn't about posting your lunch. It's not about being the subject of a true crime podcast. With Saily eSIM, you get instant data the second you land. No sketchy Wi-Fi, no dark ravines. Download Saily, because I'll be grand. Our famous last words. Head to Saily, that's SAILY.com/ToeTap for 15% off as a ToeTap loyal listener.
Right, welcome back to part 2 Toe Tapper. It is now time for your mailbag.
Postman Pat, and in black and white cat. The cat makes race. Early in the morning, one bag of man is yawning. Him pick up all of the post bag in him hand. A real bad man. Postman.
All right,
Anthony Falvey.
Gary's under reverse psychology, is he?
Oh, yeah. I was waiting for you to lose the plot.
Fair dues to the players for coming back from 2 down. I respect their determination, and what I'll say next has nothing to do with them. The celebrations from the club on social media are beyond cringy and show a total lack of self-awareness. We've had declarations of the best Monday night in Cork, photos of kids being hoisted in the air, and videos of fist pumping into the shed. With all due respect, we've just beaten a part-time team of City rejects after being behind for 80 minutes and scoring 3 of our goals after they went down to 10 men. All of this has taken place in the First Division, but you'd swear we won the Champions League. I enjoyed the win, but this rubbish afterwards has spoiled it for me. We should be keeping our heads down and moving on instead of milking a poxy win against Farmers. Anyone care to respond to that?
Yeah. People that are deeply ingrained in the pain that fans have experienced over the last 3 years, I'm sure, will agree with some sentiment of that. But unfortunately, there was 3,500 plus there on Friday night, or sorry, Monday evening, that we saw ourselves, kids saying, I want to go back there again. And the only way the club can keep the momentum going is try and trickle in the few little bits on social media. The pictures of the players with the fans, the young fans, I saw they were advertising merch today, a funny picture of one of the Kerry lads trying to rip the jersey off his hands. And again, what can they do?
Wasn't that
at the end of
Malik
the
Dykes
day?
deal, no?
I was going to fucking go for it, you prick.
You actually gave me a fright there that I said it accidentally myself. I was like, geez, I didn't say that, did I? But you know what? I'd never be as bad
Is
as
this what
that
the
show.
Echo reported?
Yeah, I know. But yeah, so look, you have to keep the momentum going. Like it's grim times. They can't go completely silent and just be putting up scores and
What's
this
the
and
crack
that.
though? Actually, just on that, our graphics. Normally we have the player, the torso of the player, the profile of the player when they score a goal. But they've kind of given up on that now, and now it's just like, the number of goals scored. I thought the scoreline.
I don't know. Maybe they only have 1 or 2 of Shawnee, and they just didn't want to keep using the same image. I don't know. I didn't even notice that then, to be honest. But or maybe someone else was covering the game.
I was just going to say, is it possible that Aaron was off?
Not there,
But
and someone else subbing in.
if you have the templates for the scoreline one, they'd have the templates for the player. But anyway,
look,
Decky doesn't agree. Well, they should have them.
I'm not sure they would.
Well, for taking over the social media, you would. Anyway, Decky, was it cringy or not, all the posting after? I personally don't mind too much.
No, I don't think so. As Deck says, it's football is a business, and you have to, social media knows a huge part of that, because I get exactly what the person is saying. And it kind of goes back to what we said a couple of weeks ago. Do we just want to sit in our own misery and just be continually, it's the First Division, it's the First Division fucker? Or do we actually want to go, do you know what? We know it's the First Division, but let's enjoy good games and exciting games and good scorelines and good goals and whatnot. And we all know where we're going next year. So let's just kind of enjoy the journey as much as we can. And I think I'm definitely switching mentalities towards that. Is this the only way to survive the season?
Just to bore the living daylights out of everyone, just from a deeper knowledge of it. it's people's jobs, unfortunately, to keep social media metrics as high as possible.
Of course.
And have year-on-year growth and all that. And, oh, God, you get the LinkedIn posts then. Wow, fantastic to see your growth and the corporate nonsense there and whatever, that follows in November and December. So, look, that's just the reality of football at the end of the day. And there's sponsorship deals at stake here as well and all that. So,
Can I just say as well that our African fans were not happy at half-time yesterday. They were rather upset that we were 2-0 down and not winning, and there was threats made that we better win the game because,
That's been going on for years.
It's very funny, very funny.
Match-fixing allegations.
The African gamblers who have no idea what's happening in the League of Ireland, but have us in a tenfold or something because we're favourites, very funny.
Edward comments, Ballybuffet Baltic Bog review. You'll be very excited to know we have a review from the Finn Harps Jacks. Portakabin style toilet with 3 cubicles, all with locks for privacy. Good first impression, as no smell of stale urine. 2 of the 3 lights working, so could see where you were aiming. 3 urinals also available, all clean with fragrance blocks to distract you. Floor was clean throughout, hot water available and soap. Toilet paper dispenser broken in 2 cubicles, but plenty of toilet paper on the cistern, and surprisingly didn't have a damp feeling, so must have been new. Good flushing action, so no chance of any floaters. Also can be used as a shelter when the sleet, cold face snowflake, arrived in the second half for a few minutes. Not sure if it was snowing in Ballybuffet. Its location and lack of away fans at almost all their games means the toilet isn't as damaged as it could be. Overall, 7.5 out of 10. That's a pretty glowing review, Decky, of the Jackson.
It is, absolutely. I mean, the best line of it is the fact that nobody ever goes to Ballybuffet, so the toilets are in fucking great nick,
That's fucking ridiculous.
Fair play to Edward.
And I'm sure there was a lovely balls to the win sticker also put up there, so they have that to look at now.
We'll have to have a Jacks of the Season award at the end or something, sponsored by Balls to the Wind.
There we go. They'll win one of those keychains he was dishing out in the corner flag.
Yeah,
he should be pulled up for trademark or something there. Here, you should be all over that shit.
Look, I think, Dick, you gifted it to him, didn't you? He was
I'm happy that
night in Taught Up Live, he made that phrase his own. He just stole the show. Edward, you legend.
To the Twitter questions now. CCFC man, 4-2 and a bumper crowd never felt so sketchy. This squad needs open heart surgery. Alan Coleman, staying with 3 centre backs against 10 men was a big risk. Got away with it this time. The fact that Shawnee is better in the air than Keats says everything. Rather give Murray more game time than Keats. Decky. Well, we were all kind of clamouring for Murray, but in his introductions this year, what have you made of him?
He hasn't gotten minutes. It's impossible to come into a game, and that's why it's very difficult to be a substitute regularly, because you're being put on when we're either chasing a game or looking to protect the game, and Matt's only got 131 minutes. It's only 15% of all the minutes available. Fucking AJ Bridge has more since he came in. Do you know? So, and it's even though he's come on in what? 1, 2, 3. He's come on in 6 games of the 9. It's 16 minutes, 39, 21, 17, 36 and 2. Do you know? It's too patchy. And we don't have a huge squad. One of the things on Monday, yesterday, when we looked at the squad was Matt Murray's the only attacking option off the bench. He got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you know? Because he changed the formation and he put Conor Drinan on at half time and he moved things around and he pushed Cian Murphy out wide rather than play Matt Murray out wide, do you know? So, it does look like he's down the pecking order, and yeah, he needs to get minutes, but we're unbeaten. It's hard to argue that you have to put him in because it's not working or other players aren't playing well. He's just got to bide his time, and he's never going to admit it, but he's saying a prayer every night that somebody gets injured and misses 6 weeks. Do you know what I mean? And he gets a run of 6 or 7 games. Yeah. Do you know?
Which will come.
When that time comes, he has to grab the jersey and try and hold on to it.
Joe Langford, we've already gotten to this one, but I'll call out anyway. For me, it wasn't an accident that we were a lot better in the second half when Keating wasn't on the pitch. He's a bit of a passenger at the moment. Do you think the overall team game flows better without him right now? I think you've already got to that one, to be fair. Topper, musings, Bagsy runs like he's holding a watery shit. Keating decline.
That way?
Keating decline looking irreversible. Artemis Jeffrey Bridge deserved another 15. Hands equals the new McGlade, love heart. Packed ground, unreal. Buzz from comeback, but worry about quality of performances. Why would anyone buy LOI club with no ground? Kerry.
There's always the academy, Dan, and the value that academies have and the development of young players and potentially selling them. And also, like, a club like Cork City, always will be the case. I would say that we don't own our own ground, or even in our case, though, we don't own our training ground or have a firm stake in it. Look, obviously, I think with Dermot in particular, like he saw the opportunity that owning Cork City could give, and there is huge potential there, as we saw with the crowds on Monday that came to see us. But ultimately there is a lot of things at play other than actually just the real estate of your own ground. And to be fair,
Ian Crowley, why does Barry Robson have to bring on 37-year-old Greg to steady the ship? Where is Captain Fantastic leading the troops from the start? Or our talisman Shawnee keeping cool heads when we go behind? You speak about City relying too much on a 16-year-old Murphy. I feel it lacks of leaders, to be honest. Decky.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with a whole lot of that, to be honest with you. I've spoken about Fiacre already. There was this mad decision made last year when Fiacre came in to strip Ger Lyons of the captaincy and give it to Fiacre before he'd ever really kicked the ball for us or played the game for us. And I think that puts extra pressure. Genuinely do. I think not alone now do you have to prove yourself as a player to a new fan base, to a new management, to a new... You also have to prove yourself to the rest of the team and the rest of the squad as a captain, as a leader, as all those things. And I look back on it and I was just going like, what a fucking stupid decision that was. If you want to strip Charlie Lyons, strip him. Give it to Shawnee. Give it to somebody who has nothing to prove. Fiacre's just in the door. We know he has 300 games in England. But as I said, you have a whole new fan base who've never seen him kick a ball before, that he has to impress and he has to, play in front of, and adding the weight of captaincy. I was just kind of going like this, and we said it at the time, this is just like thing. We know why Charlie was stripped of it. He wasn't the only one in the Rob Rye that night, but he was the only one who seemed to be punished. And that's going back on stuff now, and it's a whole other tale again. And there's legs to that story by all accounts and whatnot. I don't think Charlie Lyons did a whole lot wrong, to be perfectly honest with you. From my understanding, this is Ger Nash, like just horrific management again, like horrific. The damage that man done to this football club in a short period of time he was here is fucking astronomical. And the fact that he was being left in fucking place and going again, like, but every time it comes up, he was being left in place. How? All you had to do was look around, see the fucking damage that was being done by him. And we were leaving him in there. He was taking us through. Niall O'Keefe, his big fucking signing, has played 6 minutes in the league for Barry Robson. He's made one substitute appearance and played for 6 minutes. At home that loan when we were fucking 4-0 up, was it, or 4-1 or whatever it was? Oh, God, don't get me started again. But anyway, back to this. There's like that whole thing, I think, put unnecessary pressure on Fiacre. Barry Robson was never going to change it when he came in. You're not going to change it now. But I think there's merit to what Ian has said there. Leaders lead by example, not by words. And Fiacre hasn't played well at any step. Like I said, the Cove Ramblers game was probably his best performance. He went off injured after whatever it was, 34 minutes or whatever it was. 38 minutes. And he just hasn't played well. And I'm sure the rest of the players are looking at him going, he's not playing great, he's not playing well. Are they being inspired? I don't think they are, to be honest with you. I give it to Shawnee, but that's not going to happen, but as I said, leaders lead by example, they lead by performance, and like Shawnee's a complete another cheat code in this division. He's just like, he's 8 goals in 9 games. He's fucking far ahead.
Are we still shagged if he gets injured, do you think? Are we in a dogfight if he gets injured?
No, I don't think we're in a dogfight. What are we clear? 6 points, is it?
8, I think. No.
8 points, yeah. 8 points. I don't think we're in a dogfight at any stage, to be honest with you, because Bray were second going into the weekend. They had 2 home games. They opened the scoring against Wexford on Friday night. They lost the game 2-1, and they drew 2-2 at home to Finn Harps yesterday. Rest of the division is absolute mank, Dan.
There's no fear of anyone.
No, I'd nearly put Scotty in goal for the rest of the season, me at centre-back, and leave Carey run the midfield, and I'd be pretty confident we'd still go up.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Sin and Dogan, just kind of what you were following on from Kelleher, although he scored, was fear-inducing every time he had the ball or was defending an attack. Who do we give the captain's armband to? Anthony Falvey says, sometimes as a footballer, the best thing for you is a break. We all love Keats. We know what he's capable of, and we'll be here waiting when he's ready to lead the line again. For now, I think it's best for him to take a step back and get himself right. All the best, Keats. Hashtag number 9, heart. Kerry?
Yeah, I think we've covered it, Dan, to a lot of extent, to be fair. Yeah, he probably will miss out on Friday. I'd like to see him play and give him a chance to knock in a few against 3D, but Dominic makes a great point. They could easily stifle us, and it could be a awful nil-all draw.
Do you play him in the Munster Senior Cup? Maybe leave him on Friday. Do you play him against Kerry then that following week?
Oh, that team then is going to be a total under-19s team, isn't it? We're not.
We can't, Dan, because we don't have a depth of squad that if something goes wrong in that game and it's in Mayfield on the Astro and Rory picks up a niggle or something that's going to keep him out for 2 or 3 weeks, we don't have the squad depth that allow us to do something like that.
I'd keep that to what the club have been doing. Play the under-19s or under-20s and plough on, and as Deck said, too dodgy.
Garrett, not an advisor, Barry. I passed so many Kerry people, I thought they had stopped off on their way to the Dáil to protest over farming issues or the price of petrol or something. How many do you reckon they brought? They brought a fair few. There's probably some in the home end as well, is there?
Oh, 450? 450, maybe, thereabouts?
Yeah, look, and it's great. As I said, they do free buses. So you could go to Cork for the day, pay a $5 to get into the ground. You have a free bus. You could have a lash of points. Do you know what I mean? It's a perfect day out. Perfect day out.
The vendors probably made nothing off them in the cross, though. They would have had the old sandwiches in the tinfoil with them,
egg and onion or something.
City CJ, it must be frustrating for the players to have Greg Bolger come on and start giving players instructions when he can't even do the instructions himself. Constantly telling players to lift the energy, but that's only after he gave the ball away and a foul and a yellow card. Do you think that's fair?
No. We were 2-0 down when he came on. We won the game 4-2. Look at his ball for the fourth goal, wasn't it? The one where he flicks, or he not flicks, but he sends his hands free. Greg is a talisman in this side. Yes, we know he's 37. He's not going to do the legwork that other players are going to do, but he's going to ensure that they do the job that they need to do, and he's going to do the job that he needs to do. And I was actually pissed off when I saw him coming on, because I was kind of like, why the fuck are we in a situation where Greg has gone all the way up and down to Donegal, got back on Saturday morning, he's played in Donegal, he played the majority of the game, I think, didn't he? He only played 55 minutes in Donegal, but there was obviously a plan there, and we take him off, we'll give him Monday off, and we'll rest him that way, and he has to come on at half time on Monday because we're 2-0 down at home to Kerry. You're kind of going, fucking hell, if Greg gets injured here, no, blah, 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 blah. I understand a little bit what that chap is saying, but to me, it's not a goer. I'm not criticising Greg for thing. I think he made the difference in the game. I think he settled us. He moved the ball faster than Bridge was moving it. I know people saying Bridge deserved more time. I would have had no issue with that either. But it was important that we got a goal early in the second half. Really important. Like if that went to 60 minutes and we're still 2-0 down, 65 minutes, still 2-0 down, it's a very different game than the one it was. So, no, I disagree with that chap completely, to be honest with you. Our lady, I don't know who sent it in.
The City CJ, are we allowed to criticise Keats, or will I still be called idiots by Wayne? Bit of a strange one. We weren't allowed to do it 2 weeks ago, but now it seems acceptable to question his lacklustre performances all season.
Is this the same person who sent in the Bulger one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Again, if I may, just say, did Wayne call people idiots for criticising? It sounds like something he'd do all right. Yeah.
To be fair, like to the person that asked that question, like he said an awful lot of worse things to even some of the hosts of this podcast. So I certainly wouldn't take being called an idiot personally. He's probably just angry. Look, obviously we have a very strong affection towards Keating, as I'm sure the large majority of Cork City fans do, and there was rumblings online criticising him and things like that, and it probably wound Wayne up a little bit. And you know, he can be a little bit hot-headed from time to time. Like, would you agree, Dan? Nick?
Yeah, I mean, but you know, there's levels to Wayne. If he calls you an idiot, he genuinely, he more or less loves you. Like,
yeah, I would say that's fair.
When he starts calling you a prick or things like that, that's where you need to punish him or drag him into line, like, you know.
What if he calls you an idiot 100 times, Dick? What would you say then? He loves
I think
you
he's
a lot
of love for you. I think he's a lot of love for you, to be honest with you. You know? But just to go back to the question very quickly, and just the point we always made was that we're in a season where we can allow Greg we can allow Keats to play himself into form. You wouldn't have that luxury in the Premier Division. If it was the Premier Division, we'd be having very different conversations. We said, yeah, he had to be dropped a month ago. You know, that would be the conversation in the Premier Division. We're not. We're in a league where we can allow ourselves to give a little bit more leeway to players.
The same City CJ follows it up. Greg Bulger coming on at half-time had nothing to do with us winning. I think AJ Bridge was hard done by being taken off at half-time. I thought he moved the ball well in midfield and was covering ground across the pitch. Nothing spectacular. I think we found AJ's burner. I think is what we found, but miles ahead of Greg.
Definitely, yeah.
What's the account name? CJ City, is it?
City CJ.
Oh, the J's and the dots and the like. There's only 2 letters from A to C, like, you know. Look, to be fair, I think he's right. I was kind of surprised that Bridge was taken off, but obviously the manager makes the decision. And again, we won the game 4-2, having been 2-0 down. So it's almost impossible to criticise the manager's decision on that basis. Yeah.
He's doing okay though. I think like scored the week before, and yeah, you know, according to Twitter, he's been absolutely mind-blowingly excellent. So look,
did Freddie Anderson get caught out big time on Xbox or something?
I didn't actually watch the video of the week. Is it?
Will we save that for SB of the week then? Whatever.
Surely.
I actually didn't watch it.
We're out on a limb anyway, so yeah.
Okay. Garrett, not an advisor, Barry. If they reduce the tickets to €10 or have kids go free with adults, do you think we could get 5k at most games? It was great to see 2 busloads of Kerry fans as well. Decky.
Me again? No, I don't think you would. Just timing. I think everything aligned. The stars aligned for the club yesterday. The early kickoff helped a lot. You can't have an early kickoff on a Friday, so no, I think you lose a certain amount of the kids and their parents at that stage, you know.
Yeah. Other Decky, Philly Crowley says, what did the club need to do now to build on a big crowd and an exciting match to keep up the attendance for Wexford?
I think the pressure's on Robson, Dan, to be honest. Like, he has to pull it out of the bag now away to Treaty. Like, we can't have another lacklustre 0-0. And then, even more importantly, we have to put on a good performance with good football, plenty of goals for the next home game. Is that Wexford the following week, is it?
It's Wexford, yeah.
Yeah, so like next 2 games are crucial. We have to win comfortably against Treaty on Friday, take a nice 2-0 And then the following week, we'll hopefully have a good, decent crowd. A lot of those first-timers that were there on Monday coming back. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be like a 4-3 last-minute winner or anything like that. Just like, he has to change up the formation. Like what we've been working on, and our two analysts, Decky and Dom, have covered this to a better extent than I ever will. But like, he has to change it up. Friday has to see the change now after the 4 goals in the second half on Monday, and the pressure's on him, really. I think the club tipping away on social media then, and just keeping the momentum going in line with what the players are doing on the pitch. But ultimately, that's what it all comes down to then. If it goes back now to 0-0 on Friday, and then we scrape a 1-0 at the Cross, or draw at the Cross, or something like that against Wexford, like, yeah.
Last one here. Ian Crowley, can we not overanalyse Rory's current situation? He's a professional, and although not ideal, he understands that something must change and his own form isn't the best. I'm sure he has the unwavering support of the city faithful, but Kerry, does he have the support off field from the club? What would the club have in place for a player maybe in his position, or if anything?
Dan, I don't want to go into it too much, obviously, but like, I'm sure, and I think it's pretty clear that he's gotten fantastic support from the club. And look, even when he went up to Pats then, and he was having a miserable time up there, look, the club did bring him back down again, and I think he's got good accommodation in Cork, and like, I think any help he needs on all fronts is there for him, and I think he's very well thought of by everyone at the club, and by the fans, of course, as well. Like, so, yeah, I think to echo what Eki keeps saying, like, I genuinely believe he'll play himself back into form, and he'll be a player ready for the Premier Division for us next year. And we just need to stick with him. And there's no need to get on his back. Like, what good will that do? Honest to God, no good can come of it by fans getting on his back and giving him abuse and silly stuff like this. Like, we're top.
I don't think there is nonsense. Really.
I know there isn't, but like, you know, you can see, Dan, like, I'd hate to see a bit of like nasty comments on social media and stuff like that. Like, and this isn't just about Keating. Like, this is like, players deserve criticism. Of course they do, and they deserve to be critiqued. And we've given feedback on this pod, and like, the general perception is that we expect he'll be dropped on Friday, and that's fair enough. But yeah, I think just, again, we're saying that's for the better of him and for the better of the team, and we all believe he'll regain form. There's no need really to get on his back and huff and puff. We're going to walk this absolutely horrible, terrible division. It's all just about preparing for next year, and the best way to prepare for next year is stay behind the players that we think are going to be here next year, especially, and hope that they give it their all.
Okay. It is now time for your SB of the week. We might have a late contender.
It's time for the SBMBS of the week.
All right, do we even have anything? It was slim pickings this week, wasn't it?
Slim pickings. It was slim pickings. We spoke about James McLean earlier on. We should probably throw his nomination in there, because that's pure and utter deflection. And pure and utter deflection is just some bollocks. Like, you know, there's no getting away from that. The other one was, I don't know if any of you saw this, but you mentioned earlier on, Dan, Freddie Anderson. Now, I wish I understood the online gaming world and things like this when it popped up randomly on my TikTok, which I know kind of love TikTok, I'll be honest, which I don't follow anybody. We just, whatever random videos get pushed my way on the algorithm, you know. But Freddie Anderson, or this lad who had played Freddie Anderson on FIFA, and then did this TikTok video of this pro footballer who I just beat on FIFA is abusing me in the chat, you know. And I don't know, something about a goal card or a 50 goal card or something.
I think he had the real player Freddie Anderson, former Cork City loanee Freddie Anderson, in his squad amongst another team of like superstars. So you had, like, you know,
or doesn't every player in the game, I think they get their own special card that is like, is it 99 rated? If you're in the game, I think you get a 99 rated card of your own
I have no idea what that means. All I know is that Freddie Anderson was abusing this young fella, and the young fella was mocking the shit out of him, going, "You have this car, but you're no fucking good. You're useless." And whether he was talking about real life or whether he was talking about FIFA, I couldn't quite establish. But let's just say
Freddie denied the allegations.
Yeah,
Freddie,
and then Freddie, he put it on his Twitter or his Instagram or something, and the real Freddie Anderson then appears saying, "That's not me at all, boy." And your mum was like, "It fucking is, like, stop now, like, we know it is, like." And then Scotty went and looked, and the account on FIFA, the Freddie Anderson account on FIFA, had been deleted. So that then convinced Scotty that yes, it was the real Freddie Anderson that was on FIFA. Giving out to, like, kind of abusing and being abused at the same time, some random young fella who beat him at FIFA, and he was time waste. It started about time wasting or something. Why would you be time wasting? And I don't know. It was mad shit. But look, there's nothing League of Ireland as such this week, or if there is, I missed it. Bar James McLean. But I'm quite happy to give this Freddie Anderson for randomly abusing young fellas on FIFA anyway,
I'm leaning towards McLean, not just because of the headlines on the paper about the pitches and all that. He was on Instagram as well then. Did you see that? He put up this, like, vague quote, like, it was like a picture of him on his stories in a boxing ring, and he put up, I'll read it out: "If they don't have what you want, don't listen to what they say. There's no greater waste of time than justifying your actions to people who have a life you don't want." Like, was that after the game?
He was
dropped
in the Gaffin Club, like, oh yeah.
Not that he was dropped. Himself, the brother, and Duffy were all left out of the Derry squad on Friday night. And he put that up then on Saturday morning. Now, they were left out with injuries, but then he put that up Saturday morning. Everyone's going, well, he wasn't injured. He's in a boxing ring this morning.
Boxing, and then he puts out about that stuff about the pitches being diabolical. Like, breaking news, like, former Wrexham superstar James McLean, friend of fucking...
Somebody was sending this now.
He knew what he was
abusing
fucking
us
getting into, like.
Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, he has to be the winner for me. Like, that nonsense. It's 2026 now. Come on, James. You're a big experienced lad now.
Dan, again, you got to pick now, boy. I'm.
Oh, I think it's the Freddie one, just because it's fucking funny, like. McLean's going to be nominated again, like, but we're only going to have one shot at this one, I think. So yeah. That's my SB.
We won't hear of Freddie Anderson again for the rest of the season, so it's great to hear of him again in the news. And McLean, you'll be back, I'm sure. Your eventual departure from Derry will surely give some more inspirational quotes on the old Instagram stories. Like.
So we're happy enough that Freddie Anderson abusing random fellas on FIFA.
Someone named Freddie Anderson anyway, Dick. We're not confirming. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's somebody using a Freddie Anderson account, yeah.
Congratulations, Mr. Anderson. Finally something to show for your hard work last season.
All right.
It's time for the SBMBS of the week.
All right. Lastly, treaty away this coming Friday. Decky, they've been a tough enough challenge for us down the last number of years. What are you expecting?
Dan, they're bottom of the league. They're a club that is in absolute fucking meltdown. All 17 of their fans are continually giving out about something. It's toxic up there. Like, it's clearly toxic. They've won one home game all season. No, they've only played 4, to be honest. They've only lost 1 as well.
And what better game to get things back on track?
Well, yeah, and listen, 100% that will be their angle at it. But this is a game, I think, where we can just go and make a statement. Like, really just go, lads.
Balls to the wind.
Yeah, these boys now are bottom of the league. It's time for us to put on a show. They've won 1 game out of 9. That was that home 2-0 win against Athlone. They've only scored 8 goals, conceded 15.
Even McGlade got a hat-trick against them last week, like.
Exactly, yeah. Lost 4-0 down in Cove on Monday. I'm not doing any tactical analysis or anything else. 4-4-2. I mean, I think the team, obviously Brandon goal, Feely right back, Kelleher Lyons, Droyne left back, Keane Murphy right side of midfield, Crowley, Bulger, Fitzgerald the other side, Hans and Shawnee up top, and just go and put your fucking foot in their neck, do you know? And when you're 3-0 up, after 62 or 63 minutes, that's when you bring Keats on. When they're under the cosh all game, when their fucking confidence is low, when you've got them beaten to a pulp, then you bring Keats on, you say, no, Keats, you go get your goal. That gets everything ticking. That gets everything going again, you know?
And like, they have nothing to play for. Like, they have, as you said, it's disarray up there. Everything we hear every week, there's just some new funny story or some embarrassing tweet or something like that. And they're rock bottom of the first division. They haven't even a sniff of a playoff. Their players are probably like just sick to death of it already after the first series of games. You know, McGlade put the hammer on them for us. So, like, yeah, I fully agree with you. Just put them to the sword now and give them one good hiding they deserve that we've been waiting years to give them.
Right. In terms of crowd, do you think we'll bring much up there?
It's very difficult, Dan, because where they've put us is fucking terrible as well. Like, the stand is out of action and they've put us on the flat in front of the stand. So everybody's standing at the same height. So if the lad in front, and if it's raining, a fella puts up an umbrella or something, you can't see nothing. There's no...
I did giggle, umbrellas will be permitted on Friday night. I'm like, Aaron, you're sticking City fans out in the fucking no man's land. Like, Jesus Christ.
There's no, whatchamacallit, there's no chipper van anymore up there. This is all the shit that's going on. You can have some kind of fancy artisan fucking sausage roll and some other fancy Dan thing for €6 a pop. Like, who the fuck wants that? Like, nobody. Want a bag of chips and a piece of fish or something if you're going eating in the ground, like, you know, or a burger. And if you're on this flat space and people can't see and people are going to be agitated, they're going to be cranky, it's just terrible from Treaty.
It's not the same area, Dick, where the flares were lobbed over the wall that time. And
no. Over to where the stand behind the goal. We're normally in the stand, but the stand is out of commission.
The dodgy one. That was
he never got his health and safety certificate, so they're putting us on the flat surface in front of that stand.
Like, worry about that before you start putting on fucking artisan €6 fucking sausage rolls. Like, I mean, all fucking fairness. This is why McLean is fucking unfortunately right about what he says. Like the facilities are just so backwards when a team like that is in the league and they've got a fucking condemned stand behind the goal, and City fans are going to be fucking pissed down on Friday night. I just hope the weather is nice for poor Tim O'Keefe and the rest that travel up.
100%. But like you talk about that area where the flare came in. At least if they were over there, that's on a slope. Do you know what I mean? It's a gradient slope, so you're higher. The further back you go, the higher, and you can see the pitch and things like that. It's just, like, and this is symptomatic of everything that's going wrong at Treaty at the moment. Like, I don't want to say it because I hope I'm wrong, but it feels like a club that's dying on its feet. Like, do you know what I mean? Ciara's gone. They wanted Ciara gone, and I said I would never tell people how they should feel about their own club. But what's come in and replace her in terms of a CEO and whatnot seems to have made an absolute bollocks of the place. And again, it's somebody who's come from a non-football background and doesn't understand football and doesn't understand what happens in football. And this is where you end up. And it's like, I fear from, I genuinely would, and it would be terrible to lose them as a club. But they're a club, like most clubs, who are completely indebted to their owners. Their owners are in Canada. What connection have they got to Limerick? What connection have they got to the club, to the community? And if there's a club in Ireland where I could see the ownership just going, "No, fuck this, we've had enough here," unfortunately, it's Treaty. And that would just be terrible news for the league. Like, absolutely terrible.
All right. We happy enough to leave it there, lads?
Yeah. Like, I mean, there wasn't much of a preview, right?
Well, look, where we are, an hour and a certain amount of minutes in again.
Depends on which gets edited out, Dad. Yeah, you can't get the number.
I don't think we're too bad. Well, you were saying at the start of the fucking pod about getting recognised. I was doing everything in my power on Sunday in Limerick not to get recognised. I had a snood up I had a hood and a hat. Not one fucker recognised me until the national anthem when I took off the hat and hood. The fellas next to herself copped straight away. That's him there.
Jesus.
Couldn't blame him. He's in the Limerick end.
Yeah, I was in the city end as well, Dan. Like, Jesus, what was going on up there at one stage? There was a guy marched past me by St. John's Ambulance. He got bottled or something, blood pouring down his head. Limerick fan,
they were fucking around cans, I think, at both sets of supporters in there. I think young fellas.
What? Violence at a GA match? I refuse to believe it. Were the guards, armed response unit, were they all there waiting to deal with the thugs, the hooligans? Were they?
You speak about artisan sausages at the treaty games. There's some amount of plebs go to the Gaelic grounds to watch Limerick, I swear to God. It's the worst. Mother of Jesus. I don't think I'd be in a hurry back there again. That's not just because Cork fucking were fairly poor on the day, like, but God almighty. Like, what is happening society these days?
Yeah, that rivalry's only getting fucking worse as well. Anyway, that's a story for another day. We'll end it there.
Fellas online driving them mad, you see, Tech. That's what happens, you know.
I've been pretty good. I've been pretty fucking good this year.
You
for good reason.
You were straight on it again, like with the wind up.
I was. I never. I actually didn't wind them all. I never. Not this time. Not this time.
A little bit. You did.
They were beaten by 6 points. I don't know what you could say.
Floating you're happy enough to have Cork floating under the radar.
Oh yeah, well, I've been a lot worse.
I know. You're just being a bit more cute about it now, like so.
All right. We'll end it there, lads, will we? What was the score prediction again?
Dominic said 4-0. We're going to hockey somebody. If we score early in Limerick and we go for it, I can see one of our lads doing a McGlade on it.
Yeah, one of our lads doing a McGlade on it. I predict a hat trick. Could be in Pongo, out of nowhere.
Right, I'll say 3-0 for the crack. Anyway,
yeah, I'll go 4-0 as well, same as Dom, and in Pongo hat trick and Shawnee with one.
All right, that concludes this episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast. Adios, amigos.
Cero miedo, amigos.
Adios.
Meet Evan from Cork. Evan is a research every hostile kind of guy, but Evan is also cheap. He refused to pay for international data because, in his words, I'll just use Wi-Fi. It'll be grand. Fast forward to a foggy mountain pass in Vietnam. Evan's on a motorbike. It's pitch black. Suddenly, the bike dies. No signal, no GPS, just Evan, the fog, and a very creepy silence. He stumbles upon a farmhouse where a local man looks him dead in the eye and says, "You ride more, you die." In the morning, Evan sees the truth. He was 2 minutes away from driving off a cliff into a ravine. Don't be a cliff top, Evan. Staying connected isn't about posting your lunch. It's not about being the subject of a true crime podcast. With Saily eSIM, you get instant data the second you land. No sketchy Wi-Fi, no dark ravines. Download Saily, because I'll be grand. Our famous last words. Head to Saily, that's SAILY.com /ToeTap for 15% off as a ToeTap loyal listener.